You're watching the OnePlus 8T Cyberpunk 2077 Disassembly. Now before I begin, I just want to say this is one really nice looking phone. It's got a very premium feel and the gold sticks out very nicely. Before we take apart the phone, first thing we want to remove is the SIM tray. Now we need to apply some heat to the back plate to loosen up the adhesive underneath. So we're going to use a hair dryer or a heat gun to gently heat the back plate up, and then we're going to use a plastic pry tool to pry it off. Here's a better look at the back plate, and it is glass, and it's somewhat thicker than any other back plate that I've worked with. It has absolutely no bend to it. So on the inside there's a laminate layer, which basically gives the look of the sandstone, but the feel you get is actually on the glass itself. So basically if you were to peel the laminate layer on the inside, you wouldn't have this look, and it'd probably be just clear and see-through. And there are 3 pegs, one here, and one here, which seem to be a part of the border over here for the camera lens cover, and it is glued in place. However, the glass portion itself is held down with adhesive, so if the glass was ever cracked or broken, you can apply heat and pry the glass off. So taking a look at the inside, it's basically the same thing as the regular OnePlus 8T. Moving forward, there are 16 Phillips screws that need to be removed. Once the screws are removed, we're going to lift up this cover over here and remove that. Now we can disconnect the flex cable for the flash and the sensor. And then we can remove the top plastic cover. So here you have your NFC antenna. You also have your sensor and flash. On the back you can see some antenna lines, which are the gray colored or light colored lines, as well as some graphite film. Now that we have the top cover removed, we're going to disconnect the battery cable. Once the battery cable is disconnected, we can go ahead and disconnect the rest of the cables. There are 3 wire cables that need to be disconnected as well. Just pop them off. There's some copper tape and a layer of graphite film over the copper tape, which needs to be peeled off in order to remove the front-facing camera. Now once that's peeled off, we can remove the front-facing camera. Now it's time for the cameras to be removed. And here is a better look at your cameras. So back to the main board, we have 2 Phillips screws holding it down, which need to be removed. One's located over here, and we have another one right there. Now that those screws are removed, we can finally lift up and remove the main board. So taking a look at the motherboard, we can see there are some rubber gaskets around the connectors. There is some graphite film over here on top of some copper tape. Your secondary mic is located over here. And you have a liquid damage indicator over here, which is this white sticker. So once the graphite film and copper tape is peeled off, we can see there's some thermal paste on top of the chips. Now on the back side of the motherboard, we can see more copper tape that's covered with graphite film, as well as a thermal pad over here, and some of the thermal paste residue over here. So once we peel off that copper tape, based off the amount of thermal paste they used on the RAM and the cooling in that area, I guess it produces a lot of heat. Now let's go ahead and remove the speaker assembly. And here's a better look at that. We got a couple of flex cables we need to remove. This one over here connects to your subboard to your main board. We have this flex cable which leads to an antenna over here. There's another flex cable underneath that one. Disconnect that. And there are 2 wire cables here we need to disconnect. Just pop them off. Now we're left with 2 Phillips screws over here that need to be removed. So your main microphone is located right here, is this gold piece. And on the back you have your SIM reader over here. Now let's go ahead and remove the charger port. Here's a better look at that. And you do have a rubber gasket around it. Now we're going to pry off the haptic feedback or vibrator motor. And this flex cable over here seems to be the cable for the fingerprint reader that's attached to the screen. And you have your screen cable over here in the corner we need to disconnect. And you can see it's connected to an extension flex cable, which basically runs underneath the battery and connects to the main board. So now it's time to pry off the dual batteries. And you do have 2 pull tabs on either side of each battery. And these 2 batteries are basically connected together as one, with one cable that connects to the main board. So here's a better look at your batteries. So the flex cable for these buttons are located over here, and for the volume buttons is located on this side. And they're held in place with plastic brackets that you basically just have to lift up and remove to gain access to them. And you have your earpiece speaker located over here on top. And as far as the cooling goes, you can see there's a lot of thermal paste over here on top of a copper vapor chamber, which extends underneath the battery. So if you ever had to replace the screen, you would need to remove the back plate, and then you'd have to remove the bottom cover or the speaker assembly, remove the subboard over here on the bottom, and then you would gain access to the cable over here for your screen. You would disconnect the cable, you would heat up the front of the phone where the screen is, and you'd pry the screen off the mid frame, and then you would reapply your new screen, reconnect the cable, and just reverse the whole process. Now it's time to put the phone back together. Now once all your screws are back in place, apply new adhesive, reapply your back plate. Flip your phone over, power it on, and you're done. I hope you guys enjoyed this video, and if you guys want to see more videos like this, make sure you subscribe and click on the notification bell so you'll be notified the next time I upload a video. Thanks again for watching guys, and I'll see you guys next time.